Hey guys, welcome back to another video. But this is not just a video, I'm starting my podcast officially, and this is the first episode of this podcast journey. So, in this podcast, I'm going to talk about life generally, the thoughts that I have in my mind, I want to share, and I want to, you know, communicate in this platform, and about God also. My journey with God, my understanding about God, um, share my faith to the world, you know. And before starting this episode, I wanted to just share that I used to be so much in fear and anxiety because I saw a lot of people doing this very well, very good, better than me. You know, I'm not even 0.1%. You know, I'm lesser than that compared to them. You know, all of that comparison comes because of social media. You know, I saw a lot of videos, people doing really well because I used to do all these videos before, and I deleted it. So many videos. I think I made over like 200 videos, maybe near 200 videos. I deleted every one of it, because I was so much in fear and so much worried what people would say, what will happen, what if this, what if this happens, how this turn out in this way, everything. Because I was so afraid about my look, what people would say, uh, people are gonna make fun of me, um, even about my voice, uh, about so many stuff, even if about the language that I'm speaking, because um, first about language and the way that I'm speaking, two things, because I don't know much English. My English is not perfect. And the second thing is I have a stutter problem. I stutter when I talk. So yeah, that was the fear that I have for so long, and I kept to myself for so long, and I was struggling with that, with mental, um, not depression, but with overthinking, too much of thinking about everything. So that was the thing I was going through for so long, and now I'm in a place where it's all right. We have to start somewhere. It's not gonna be perfect. This first episode, I hope that I continue doing this YouTube or podcast, for so long. If I see this video after 10 years, I will be think of myself, whoa, what was that? What was that? It's not me, because 10 years I will be so much improved. If I keep improving myself, I will be a different version, through train myself. So all this time, also I wanted to, let's just go to our topic, okay? I want to talk about social media and what it does to me and what it is doing to our society. So the topic of this podcast is for something great. Social media is a good place to share your thoughts, to share something, and how it affected me. I want to talk about it. Social media affected me in a way that forcing myself to do something, pushing myself to do something, the things that I don't want to do. I see someone else doing really great, and I wanted to be like that. It influenced me in many different ways. The way that I speak, the way that I think, it influenced me. because social media is a place of influence. You can get influenced into, and social media used to be a place where people post random videos of them. Most of them are funny. Most of them are like singing, talent, some funny stuff, some dumb stuff. But now it has become a status in our lifestyle, to show our lifestyle, to show, it becomes a business in a different level, We cannot stop that growth. It just keep growing. And social media is now becomes a place where people post about like their cars, jewelry, money, everything that makes people others go like, wow, I want that kind of lifestyle. My life is not like them. A place where it goes like, wow, amazing. Another place where, oh, I don't have that. That's where it starts, like comparison. That's what happens to me. Comparison. I compare myself with the person that I see on my screen. But I never saw their suffering, what they're going through. I never saw how they do it. What I saw is the best 1 second of their life. That picture. 1 millisecond of their life. The top, the peak of their life. Like somebody posting about their achievement, buying a Porsche 911 or Mercedes Benz or Lamborghini. I'm not a Lamborghini fan. I'm much more to Porsche fan. But what I'm saying is like they're buying expensive shoes. They're taking picture with celebrities like this, and I think to myself like, oh, they're achieving something. They're doing something. I see all the videos. They coming from down and all that. From they're coming from bottom. They're working really hard and then achieving something really great. And I compare myself to them. And if I work really hard, I can be like them. That's the trap. That's the trap that we don't really see. That I want to be like them. That's the trap. Because God made us in a different, unique way. I'll come to that in later. God made us in a unique way. Everybody has a different talent. We're not the same. If we see something really good on social media, someone is doing really great, a video or a style of video or a type of content, and we think that, oh, this is great, I like this, so I think I can do this, and we try to do, and it doesn't work out. Because spiritually, sometimes when that's why I try to include God, because God has different things in everybody. Everybody has a different talent. When you see somebody doing really good and it looks really great, and when you try to do it, it didn't work out. Sometimes, you have to try hard, but sometimes it also it's not for you. God has something different from them, a different talent for you. So you have to find out through seeking God. That's another thing. And I want to talk about comparison. So when we see all these social media posts, clothes, money, people like girlfriend, boyfriend, houses, jets, and all that, and looks also, and comparison starts to take over us, and it starts with our face. The first thing we always see is our face, how our face looks, how we look. So we start to compare our face to them. I don't look like them. They look really great. I'm like dark skin. I have this on my face. My nose is big. My lips is big. We start to compare our face, and now we came to our body, how our body looks, and we came to our clothes, and our lifestyle, and our cars, and the list keeps going on. We start to compare everything. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have that. They have that. They have this. We start to compare. And that comparison becomes a spiral thoughts in our mind. And that thought, that thoughts that in our heads, will give us that comparison becomes a thought, and that thought, becomes a spiral thought. When it just keeps circling in our mind, like a loop, again and again, and again, and then that thought pushes us into anxiety, or like a fear, or like or unseen, sometimes unseen, like nobody sees me. uh, People only talk to them because they have money, they're very talented, they're beautiful, they achieve something, they have this, they have that. But I don't have that. I don't have the look. I don't have this. I don't have that. We start to compare about money. We start about compare our character, behavior, achievements. We start to compare that. So that pushes us into a place where you're not seen by anybody, which is not true, and it comes through the comparison. And the next step what we try to do is to chase what we don't have. We try to chase fame, money, power, and people. We try to please people. We become people pleaser. We become money lover. We try to search all things. I forget what I wanted to talk about. We try to chase everything, materialistic things like cars, house, jewelry, clothes, to be seen, to get that validation from others, like posting on social media, hope that someone comments, "Oh girl, you have that. Oh boy, oh dude, you have that car. Awesome, dude, keep going. That's my dream car. You have that. Wow, you're doing great. All of that things." We try to compare that, and we try to achieve and to get validation. That's the thing that I think everybody is like running for, to get a validation from others, to be seen by others. Because I myself, I don't have much money. I don't have like cars, house, like crazy stuff. But when I was living in that mindset, I don't realize that I needed this. I'm really seeking this. But now I'm realizing it. The true thing that I was looking for was validation. That's the only thing that I was looking for. To someone to validate me, to someone to see me. That's the only thing that I was like. I wanted to achieve this. I wanted people to see me, to make TikTok videos about me. All this with punk, PHONK, punk, like in background music, and then do crazy stuff. I used to imagine myself like people do to me. So like it's a validation, right? To get something, to you want people to see you because you want to be seen, a validation. So that's one of the social media effects, that you want it to be seen. People get all these people, other people achieving, and people commenting on their videos. They get hundreds, thousands, millions of likes. People love them. They make people all people like that. But when it comes to us, nobody says to us, nobody talks to us. That's why when we feel lonely, even though we have parents, siblings, friends, we still feel lonely because of that, of feeling that the not being seen by anybody. So yeah. And I came to a realization that, when I started to slowly seek God, there was a thing in my life happened. I want to share this. I never shared with anybody. When in 2024, I tried to seek God, for the first time with all my heart. And I always wanted to have a relationship with a girlfriend. I want a girlfriend. I want to share something. I want to love somebody. I want to fall in love with somebody. And then I have this school crush, university crush, and all that. And one day after 2024, I was on my room, and I saw a TikTok. It was a random girl from another side of the world. I was like, a feeling of like to be seen by her. So I will be on her live, TikTok live, 24 hours. I will be charging my phone, and always I will always see her on my live on TikTok, and I would always be on her live chatting, commenting to her, like talking to her. Like she will reply to me in the mindset that she will see me. You understand? Like to be seen by her. I was so much desperate to be seen by her. So she will always ask, but she was only doing her work, that doing live, collecting gifts, collecting money, singing songs, and she was doing her work. But I was so desperate to get that attention from her. So I was always trying to comment her, message her, and she would not reply most of the time. I was like, well, she doesn't like me. What I have to do? How can I like make her like me? What can I words that I can say to her in this message that make her feel like empathy, or like, sorry for that, I can help you, something to have a connection with her. So at that time I was really deeply fall into that thing. I was really like tied to that person without even having a relationship. That was a crazy stuff, and that was demonic, I think, because through screen, and I tried to talk to her, but she never talked to me. And I was always try to send gifts to her, like I top up some money in TikTok, and then I would try to send gifts on her life to be seen, and she would call on my name. Oh, Zion, thank you, Zion, and she would do some poses and all that, and I was like happy, like, oh, she likes me, all that. But there was a moment where I sent a gift. At that time I don't have any money, just a few cents, and I sent one cent gift, and she didn't notice, and I was like, oh, and in my heart a feeling about a woman that gives offering 2 pieces of coin. She puts in the offering box, and Jesus saw her. He says, this is much greater than whatever that you give to other people, to God. He tells other people what the woman gives to God, 2 cents, is much more valuable. What people give, thousands and thousands, it's more valuable than all of that money that you people give. I always a thought came to my mind at that time, but I keep ignoring it. I tried to find some validation from her, but I didn't get any validation, and it was really painful. I was crying, and there was a chapter of my life where like God teaches me, I don't know, about validation, to be seen, to show me that you've been seen by me, God is saying, but I was ignoring that. So that's how, and that's a topic, because I never fell in any relationship. I never been in a relationship, but I was always have that feeling in me to be seen by others, to be validated by others, that wow, something like that. But I came to a realization that God sees me, God validates me, I see my validation only in God. I see that God sees me. I understand that. I was hoping someone to see me because I felt like I'm seen by people. But then I realized that God sees me. Nathaniel was under the fig tree. I think most of you have seen the Chosen episodes, but I was like that. I was like him. I felt like nobody sees me, but God sees me. And that was a breaking point for me. Then I was searching and searching all this time, and I was looking for validation in so many places to please people, to seen by somebody in a special way. In a special way. But God sees me in that way, more than the way that I think of, in much greater, in a much special way. So I don't know where the verse is. I think in Matthew. I don't know, guys. I'm being honest. I don't know where the verse is. And about money, I worry about money, right? I don't know what I'm talking about. This episode, first episode, the more that I seek money, the more that I search about for fame, the things that I wanted to do to achieve fame, to be famous, to be seen by people, to get a validation. I get all of that when I truly seek God. I get much more satisfaction and a peace where, if I compare the validation to the world and to God, it's totally different. Because when you need to be validated by the world, by the people, you need to be achieving something. You have to keep pleasing them. You have to keep doing something for them. But with God, you just have to be seeking Him. You don't have to do anything. You don't need to jumping here and there, make a lot of money, make crazy ministry, do crazy stuff for God. No, you don't have to do that. You only need to do, what you need to do is seek Him and rest in Him. And you have to understand that God sees you. You have to realize that God sees you. Sometimes you do all this stuff, podcast, ministry, other things. You think that God sees me. I'm doing something for God. So, you have that mindset. Oh, I'm doing something for God. So, but one day you will burn out. How long? One day things will get hard. What happens? People will change their mind. People will change their validation. It's not worth anymore to it's not worth anymore to talk to this guy, to see this guy, to listen to this guy, to spend my time with this guy. It's not worth anymore, because it's not like those days anymore. It has changed. His look has changed. His amount of subscribers has changed. Everything has changed. So it's not worth it anymore. We try to seek another person. People will change like that, but God will never change. You're high, you're low, God will still be the same. God will still, has that value in us in the same way that He sees us from the beginning. He has the same value when He sees us. He has the same value that He has from the beginning. That never changed. So when I get to know that, it calms my mind, it calms my pace, instead of running like that. I'm more calmer. I don't, of course I think about my financial. Now that I don't have a job, when I thought about how am I going to pay my bills, yes, I am afraid, I am distressed, depressed. But when I came back to God and sit on His presence, sit on with my Bible and with my prayer, and sometimes no words to speak, just silent, but sitting on that secret place with God gives me that validation that I am being seen by God, and a lot of understanding and a lot of realization that comes with it, that God is much more bigger, that He has every control, that we don't need to be worried. What we have to do, we do. The rest is God, and He will do it at the right time. He will never leave us. So that faith, that hope, and that strength comes back when I sit in my personal time with God. So yeah, and title of the video, I'm coming back to the title of the video. For something great. God hasn't made us to chase all of this money, fame, people, power. No, God doesn't make us for that. God doesn't make us for that. God made us for Him. For Him. I realize that. I want you to also to realize that. When you know that, when you understand what I mean, what I meant is, what I'm meaning and what I'm saying is, it's amazing, that God made me for Himself, for Him. Not for this world, not for this world's pleasure, fame, money, whatever. God made me for Him. So what I have to do for Him, that's my purpose. That's my purpose going to be. That's my focus going to be. When you realize that, that's what your focus is going to be. That's what your purpose is going to be. That's what your words, your acts, your thoughts, the things that you want to do, everything will align to that when you understand what you were made for. Because you were made for something great, and that something is Jesus Christ. That's I can say that because I truly believe that, and I truly have that how to say that, I don't have that word, but I have that confirmation, or like, let me just translate from my language. It's a word I don't remember. Tamil to English. Assurance. Yeah.
Assurance.
The assurance. Is it right? உறுதிமொழியா? Pledge. Assurance. What is meaning of assurance? Assurance meaning. A confident and firm promise meant to remove doubt or state of complete self-confidence. Yeah. I have that assurance now. No, I'm truly saying that because I'm not even seeking any more validation, Even before posting this video, if you look at my hair, I'm losing a lot of hair. I was worried about that, how my head gonna look, how my hair gonna look, how my face, what shirt I'm gonna wear, all of that thoughts. And then I was like, it's not about me. It's about God, His power, His glory, His stuff. It's not about me at all. So have that assurance right now that God is going to work through me, through this podcast, through this platform, and through you too, through me. He can work through us. That's what He wants. He wants our yes to work. If we say that yes, just imagine how many things that God can do. Of course, there will be hard times, but when we have that assurance, that complete assurance in God, and what is this life for, and who we are, when we truly understand where our value is, our validation comes from, our who sees us, and how He sees us, that will change the game. Doesn't matter you're a girl or boy, you're black or white or yellow or pink, small, big, tall, short. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is obedient to Him and to seek Him. When you seek Him, truly, it's the best thing. So, yeah. Keep seeking Him, and that's why the personal prayer, your personal time with God, is really important. Your time with God is really personal. Yeah. So that's the topic, guys. I hope you guys get something. And I mentioned that I don't have a job. If you watch until this video, until this, pray for my job. Honestly, I don't know where to go and find a job, but give it everything to God. God takes care of everything, so don't need to be worried. God sees you, and your validation, your value is in God. Understand that, know that, believe that, and seek God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. Love God with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your heart. Maybe I said it in a wrong order, but that is true. So God bless you guys. See you guys on the next video. If you enjoy, or if you get something from this, subscribe and comment down below anything that you think, whatever that you want to say it. So God bless you guys. See you guys on the next video. Peace.